Good day, and welcome to the Ganesh Housing Corporation Limited Q1FY24 earnings conference call hosted by Go India Advisors. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Rajat Gupta from Go India Advisors. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Zico. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Ganesh Housing Corporation Limited earnings call to discuss the Q1 FY24 results. We have on the call with us today Mr. Rajendra Shah, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Neeraj Kalavatia, Vice President Finance, and Mr. B. Ravi, Corporate and Financial Advisor. We must remind you that the discussion on today's call may include certain forward-looking statements and must be therefore viewed in conjunction with the risk that the company faces. I now request Mr. Rajendra Shah to take us through the company's business outlook and financial highlights, subsequent to which we'll open the floor for Q&A. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rajat, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you all for joining us today on this call to discuss Q1 financial year 2024 performance of Ganesh Housing Corporation Limited. I hope you had a chance to see our earnings presentation uploaded on our website a few hours ago. At the outset, let me proudly mention that Q1 of financial year 2024 is the company's best ever quarter in terms of financial performance, which I shall touch upon in a little later. First, a bit on outlook of Ahmedabad real estate market. The city continues to be the next big play on India's growth story, given the continued infrastructure push in the city. Various aspects like development in GIFT City and high degree of interest from IT and IT-enabled services have led to spurt in the growth of real estate activities. Companies are moving towards technologically enabled construction and selling. Infrastructure projects being built in Ahmedabad like metros, road system, and connectivity to major hubs through railways and international airport has led to a rapid urbanization. Ganesh Housing has always been on the forefront of this in Ahmedabad. All sectors, be it affordable housing, independent floors, both residential and commercial, plotted development, premium luxury condominiums, and premium commercial spaces are looking up. Coming to our quarterly update of Q1 of financial year 2024, we are very happy to announce that Million Mind Phase 1 commercial project, which is IT SEZ Phase 1, has already reached about 7% of the construction level, and we are well on track to finish it within our slated completion time of March 2026. The company plans to launch various planned residential projects. Every quarter we will be launching a project in this financial year. As mentioned previously, the entire SEZ project will be completed over a time frame of next 8 to 9 years, which gives us clear visibility of uninterrupted cash flows to the company over the course of these 8 to 9 years. Our ongoing projects, Malabar Exotica, has been completed almost 90%, and we are very confident of completing this project in this financial year. The project has started in July 2021, and we are very happy to announce that we will be finishing this project also well in advance, which shows our commitment towards our customers. This has been done with the use of technology. Earlier, we have already delivered residential project called Malabar County 3 in just 2.5 years. Now, I would like to discuss in brief about some of the key financial and operational highlights during quarter one of financial year 2024. Company has recorded a highest ever quarterly revenue of 272 crores in quarter one of financial year 2024, which on year is 536% increase. We have registered a resounding 765% growth in EBITDA in quarter one of financial year 24, with the amount being 217 crores as compared to rupees 25 crores year on year. We have crossed the financial year 2023 profitability in just a single quarter in quarter one of financial year 2024, and the company has registered a profit after tax of rupees 161 crores, which is a rise of 1,131 crores, 1,131% year on year. Company continues to remain debt free from a peak debt of rupees 650 crores in financial year 2019. In fact, the cash surplus ending on quarter one of financial year 2024 was at rupees 189 crores. Additionally, we have started our last quarterly call. Additionally, as we have stated in our last quarterly call, the company for the first time has a very clear blueprint where we are heading in next 7 to 8 years with the largest ever upcoming projects with about 30 million square feet of developable area with clear visibility of cash flows. Long-term prospects of the company looks very promising, and we believe there would be adequate business potential to sustain the growth momentum. With this, I will request the floor to be open for questions and answers. Rajat, can you take over, please?
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Our first question is from the line of Rishit Shah from Nuvama Wealth. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much for the opportunity and congrats on a great set of numbers. Sir, I had three questions. So firstly, on the exceptional revenue or the exponential revenue growth that you have posted this quarter. So, I mean, what drove this growth? Is it because of the land sales or any project that has come in this quarter, that has come into the revenue this quarter?
Yeah. Actually, this quarter we have sold some of the land which was not a part of our township development in the vicinity of that land which is going to be developed as a township. So basically that is the transaction which has given us revenue during this quarter. Yeah, and
okay.
Part of revenue has also come from completed project Malabar 3.
Okay. So if you can give a rough split, I mean, what percentage would be from Malabar 3 of the total revenue?
Of the total revenue, we can actually split it about 85% to 15%. So about 15-20% is from Malabar 3. And about 80-85 is from that. So this land is that strategic sale. You know, we keep doing that, right, as you're aware. And earlier also we have done such things. So we do have a vertical called land sale vertical, as you know. And whenever we get a good opportunity and a sweet deal, we go ahead with that.
Perfect. Second question would be on the Malabar project that is coming due, getting completed in the fourth quarter of this year. So what kind of revenues that we are expecting on this project, along with what kind of margins would be realized on this project?
The revenues are in the range of around 150 upwards of 150, and the margins, Rajendra bhai, is about 30 crores, 30%. Around 30% is the margins on that.
30%. Great. And thirdly, in the Million Mines residential project, the revenue recognition would basically start from the second half of FY26. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. We have assumed about 3 years of completion of each phase, and therefore the first, though the cash flow would be from, let's say, the next quarter itself, quarter 3 itself, but the actual revenue recognition from in terms of Indians would be from that time.
Yes, got it. I understand that. So for FY25, we might see some suppression or maybe, kind of some suppression or some muted revenue growth, right?
May not be. Looking to the fact that, we give a little longer period for actual execution, whereas we have seen in all our earlier projects that the execution much faster. So you never know, it can all be preponed also. And plus, new projects will keep coming in, and so each of these things will keep added. Some of them, not everything needs to be around 3 to 4 years gestation. It can be earlier also. And yes, strategic sale of land could always be there, depending on when that kind of a deal comes up. So we don't really expect any dips in any of the years. And frankly, these projects which are there, when we say 3.5 years, many a times we have seen that it gets completed within 2.5. So it can even be preponed, which will ensure that these dips don't occur.
Great, that's great. That's good to hear. And lastly, a suggestion from my end. So as and when you start launching these projects, if you can, in the presentation, if you can just give a brief about the saleable area of the project launch as well as the inventory that is sold and unsold, that would be of great use.
We shall do that from whenever we, this is going to start from next quarter itself, as you know. We just said about the residential one. At that point in time, we'll be able to give you the details because we'll have them. So we shall do that for sure. In the presentation.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Jay Shah from Dolat Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. So there are a couple of questions. First, what's the construction update on phase 1 of residential project in Million Mines? We were planning to launch it in first half of this fiscal. So just wanted to take that update. And additionally on that, if you can brief a little on the township project we are planning to launch in second half in Godavari. What are our launch plans there, and how have residential prices moved in the region in last 1 year also?
So the SEZ residential was always planned for the third quarter, and that is absolutely on schedule. In fact, we are actually going to do one more residential project in the fourth quarter also of SEZ, which wasn't planned this year. We earlier had planned that we'll be doing one residential in each year. As against that, we are planning to have the first phase of residential project in SEZ in Q3 as already planned, which was that was earlier planned too. Plus, we'll also do the second one in Q4. That's because the kind of traction we see in the residential premises looks to be really good. And that's the reason why we believe that we can prepone that. That also actually partially answers the question that in terms of the pricing and all that has really been going well. We are not seeing any dip. The demand for it as well as the price in that region, in the residential region, has always been very good.
Okay. And secondly, just wanted to know that will we continue to do more land sales in coming quarters? Like how much of land area do we have currently versus what we had in last quarter? So just wanted to understand how much we have sold outright basis in last 1 year, and any other additions in land parcels?
So the business of Ganesh Housing is in real estate, right? So it includes buying of land on a continuous basis. So this buying happens almost whenever there is a strategic opportunity available. On similar basis, whenever a strategic opportunity for sale is available, when there are good deals available, we would like to do the sales also. Now, that doesn't really we wouldn't be able to say whether in which quarter what kind of a land parcel would be sold, because that actually goes as per a deal availability and the strategy which will be developed in that particular when the opportunity arises. Having said that, yes, this has been a part of our vertical and has been a part of our continuous land sale happening along with the development, and that is likely to continue whenever that comes up. And even at this point in time, we must be having around 550 acres, or give or take a few acres, because that's a continuous process of buying which keeps continuing.
Okay, so you're saying that currently the land area that we have would be around 550 acres of land, right? Yeah,
maybe around about thereabouts, because some of them would have been just sold or some would have been acquired. So it's around that side, around 550 acres. Yeah.
Okay, understood. Yeah. Thank you so much. That is so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Anupama Luthra from Arihant Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Can you little bit more elaborate on your land business, like buying and selling? So
I'm just in addition to what I just said.
Yes. Like you just mentioned that you've got 550 acres of land. So how does it work? And if you can also give us a split, split as far as revenue is concerned, this land to the other construction activity.
Both these things I had just covered. I'll just repeat that and I'll give it to Mr. Rajendra Shah for the next. 85, this particular quarter, around 80-85% is from the land, around 15-20% is from the finished project of Malabar 3. And land acquisition and land sale both happen strategically. One, not every land which is bought is for development alone, and similarly, not every land which is there is to be sold outright. So whenever an opportunity comes up in terms of a good deal, the land which has been bought not for development, or we believe that it's a better deal than to develop at that point in time, the land sale happens. So it can always be lumpy. The land sale need not necessarily be on a very continuous basis. It can be lumpy. So this is the strategy of. So actually, the development which happens is always going to be a predominantly larger portion of it as we go by. Whenever all these projects which already have announced have been already on stream and continuously will be announced and starting construction, all that will become a significant part of the entire revenues going forward. But off and on, this opportunity can come, and we'll do the land sale. I hope that answers that question, Anupam.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just to add to whatever Raviji said, like on modus operandi or on land sale, I would like to add only a few lines which goes like, see, as a business model, our target acquisition is that land which is going to become potentially future very strategic land in future. So we are, as a business model, we try and acquire such land which is right now on outskirts of the city. However, in next 7 to 8 years, which will become part of development of city, and which in the natural course of expansion of cities horizons, if this becomes part of cities development, then naturally that value of that land will increase, and we will get benefited from that value appreciation. I hope this answers your query. Can we take next question?
Yes, sir. Before we take the next question, a reminder to all participants that you may press star and one to ask a question. Our next question is from the line of Gaurav Somani from Corman Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Sir, in the planned projects which you have, what proportion of the land we already own?
100%.
And if I take the ongoing projects plus planned projects, we own the 100% of the land, and what would be the sum total acre area of the land which you need for it?
Are you talking about in terms of the acreage?
Yes, sir.
The development which is happening in the acres is, let's say, it's an SEZ 60 acres, only in one place. That is the development which is happening, which is fully paid for. And that there are several phases for residential and several phases for commercial. Apart from that, the township project that we have talked about, that's about 450 acres. So just these two specific areas itself is around 500 acres. 550.
In total, you said you own around 550 acres of land, and the ongoing and planned projects constitute roughly 500 acres. So does that even it out, or how should we look into it?
Yeah, that's right. So there is always excess land which need not be developed immediately, and on which maybe some plans will be announced in the coming quarter, which we are just waiting for certain things. So we will be probably announcing something which is already not yet announced. One more announcement can come in the next quarter itself, which will come again in one of these land parcels of the 40-50 acres balance, which is not yet been announced for development. And plus, it can mean that, some of this could be also a strategic sale of land. And plus, as I said earlier, there could be addition to this land wherever an opportunity comes up for buying more land, because that's a continuous exercise.
Yeah. Understood. So essentially, what I was coming to is like the current land parcel which we have is more or less going to suffice for our ongoing and planned projects for the next 10 years, leave apart the 50-acre addition which we have. Is that the right way to look into it?
Very right. You absolutely understood it correctly. All the planned projects which are there, which will be there for, let's say, all the cash flows are coming in the next 7 to 8 years or even maybe 9 years, the entire cash flows for that, the entire land for that is already been paid for.
So the incremental land sales in the next, say, immediate future are going to be less in our revenue. Is that the right way to look at it?
Absolutely. That's what I had said a little while earlier, I think, to Anupam's question on the answer, saying that yes, the proportion of land sale going forward could be lesser. And the development, those projects would be more. Whenever we do some, let's say, plotted development or villa development, that also will be, it can roughly classify as a land sale. But actually that is not a land sale. That would be a development project which is there. So there could be a little thin line somewhere or the other, but otherwise, yes, going forward, as we see, all these announcements which are made will lead to the other revenue, development projects revenues being much higher than the land sale revenue.
Got it. Thank you, sir. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, a reminder to all participants that you may press star and one to ask a question. Our next question is from the line of Deepak Purswani from Swan Investments. Please go ahead.
Hi, congratulations.
Thank you.
Sir, just wanted to check it out two things. One, regarding Million Mine project. Firstly, since it's a part of the SEZ component, how should we look into in terms of the absorption there? Secondly, how is the micro market in terms of the total absorption capacity there? And absorption in terms of the residential as well as the commercial market, if you can throw some light on both parts. And since we are launching at a faster pace, how do we see this micro market in terms of the pricing and everything from the next 1 or 2 year perspective?
See, coming back to your question in terms of the residential part, that entire area falls in a vicinity of Vaishno Devi Circle, which is the prime habitat of the residential and commercial section under development in Ahmedabad. Now, apart from the SEZ, we have a sizable land bank in that area. We have already delivered and sold multiple projects in the range of 600 to 700 flats with each phase, and they are fully occupied. So in terms of absorption and demand side, that market is completely in our control. And in fact, in each of the projects, we have commanded some premium pricing also because of our brand name. So already, in fact, if you see the last two residential projects, which was the Malabar 3 and Malabar Exotica, these two projects was also in the same vicinity, where the first project we have fully sold within 2 months of the launch, and second project we have sold within 6 months of the launch itself. So roughly, there is a huge demand in that area, and the supply is currently not available in terms of residential part. And we already have a wait list and in the inquiry of around 300 people who wanted us to launch a project in that area. So that way, we don't see any sort of challenge in terms of the absorption of those residential portions. In terms of the commercial side, coming back to your point, precisely one of the biggest reasons why we have actually gone with the collaboration with Tishman was that we wanted to command a better and premium tenant. That's why the Tishman has come on board, and they are actually coming up with their expertise, and they are the lead partner for majority of the blue chip company across the globe. So that way, that will also be taken care on the commercial side also.
And that's coming up at a place which is the current and more so in the future CBD. That entire area around where this SEZ is there is the new place where all these large offices and large corporates have got their offices. So that's the new CBD. The whole city is moving towards that Vaishnadevi Circle site. And therefore, we do see a lot of traction coming up in the commercial side. We already see certain other projects also coming up. And if we do a project of this nature that we have planned out with Tishman's collaboration, I'm certain that the absorption of that will be very fast, especially on the rental side, which we are now planning.
Okay. And what would be the size of phase 1 and phase 2 for the Millennium Mine?
1.3 million square feet is the commercial one. That is the phase 1.
0.6 million.
And 0.6 on the residential one.
And this 0.6 is for the phase 1 for the residential?
Yes, correct. Each phase is of 0.6.
Okay. And secondly, from the cash flow point of view, since we are looking out for the development over the next 7 or 8 years, and the way we are trying to ramp it up, and we already have a huge land parcel of 550 acres, which we would be developing, and there would not be any cash outflow requirement for the land. How we should be looking out in terms of the free cash flow utilization going ahead? And secondly, we also have the commercial expansion. Would that be fair to assume this cash flow would be moved towards a commercial development there, and there would not be incremental debt going ahead in the balance sheet?
I would really congratulate you. You actually asked the question, and each of those questions have been answered by you also in the same way, because everything what you said is exactly what is the truth. And so I'll just repeat what you said. We have free cash flows, and all the cash flow which is coming up from our residential one would be used for this new, for that there, as well as the surpluses towards the Million Mines commercial, because commercial is being constructed by us and will be on a lease rental model at least for the first few phases that we have planned. So the entire land being paid for, the excesses would be used for the construction. Therefore, there would not be any need at this point, as we see, of any debt going forward. And plus, there should be cash surpluses being generated, which will shore up our free cash flow position, and maybe it will translate into business growing in the future, as well as in the dividend payouts.
And in terms of the augmentation of the residential land bank, any thoughts on that part?
At this point in time, we have 6 phases of residential development coming in only in that SEZ, in the non-commercial, non-processing area. And plus, other than that, we do have a few other land parcels where we are thinking of a very unique residential process. We have not yet got to that, but very soon you'll be hearing one more project coming up for residential, other than already announced ones.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, a reminder to all participants, you may press star and one to ask a question. Our next question is from the line of Preet Nagarsheth from Wealth Finvisor. Please go ahead.
Right. Good afternoon. My question is that what kind of sustained revenue and profitability should we anticipate for at least FY24 and FY25?
We had last quarter also said this. We do believe that we have a CAGR of around 25-30% in our bottom line year on year, and that should be a sustained one, not just for FY22 or 25, but even going forward. But the revenues can vary because revenues are not a matter of the cash flows, as you know, and the revenues can also be a little in the sense lumpiness in some quarters. But year on year, we do believe that the revenue and the cash flow growth can be in that kind of growth percentage.
So, sir, if you look into already delivered numbers for quarter one, they are already above the guidance from last year. The full last year.
Yeah.
So how does one read the following?
Yeah, I know. This particular quarter and this particular year could be an exception, but when I said CAGR, I was looking at even further 5 years down the line. So right now, FY24, yes, what you said is true. It can be far more than that, but then to sustain that in FY25 could be different. So if you look at from FY23 to FY25, probably that could be 40% also CAGR. But year on year, it will be around 30 is what we look at.
So the 15% that you sold, that's a sustainable number that's coming.
Yeah, that actually should. Yeah, that in this whole year, there are 2 projects which will be delivered, which was last year itself, which is Malabar 3, and Malabar Exotica is going to be completed and delivered this year. So that revenue of upwards of 150, which I said earlier in the call, 150 crores, that should be coming in. And of course, of the completed ones, whatever is the inventory, that revenue booking would happen. Not inventory, but the actual documentation. The revenue booking should be, which has happened partially in Q1, will continue in Q2 also. So this will be a substantial part of our revenue this year.
Right. Any other land pass? So have you received the full payment for the land parcel that has been sold, or should we anticipate any further booking in the subsequent?
This is we have got it in our cash box.
Okay, so the entire payment has been received.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I'll go back to the queue if I have any further questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and one to ask a question. Our next question is from the line of Aditya Sen from Robo Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. The market appears to be really strong there. So, do we also have
Aditya, you are not very clear to me. Can you?
Okay.
Can you just say? No. I'm afraid not.
Is it working? Hello?
No, sir, your line.
Not yet.
There seems to be disturbance in the line, sir.
Then I'm following in the queue that I'm in.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Siddharth Bhandari from Mehta Equities Limited. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Firstly, congratulations on the great set of results. So my question is, out of 558 acres of land that you mentioned, how much of the percentage is in Ahmedabad and outskirts, like outside of Gujarat?
100% is the Ahmedabad and outskirts. There is our level of our area of operation is restricted to Ahmedabad and Gujarat only.
So, sir, do you have any plans of expansion in other parts of India?
Not in near future. As of now, we don't have anything. However, if there is any such opportunity, we will definitely look into that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and one to ask a question. Our next question is from the line of Preet Nagarsheth from Wealth Advisor. Please go ahead.
Yes. One follow-up question was related to the launch, the villa development scheme, I think at Godavari. Can we expect the revenue recognition to happen in FY24 itself, or given that it's more like a land sale as part of your phase one, and then plotting would take, then development would come in?
Yeah. It's likely to happen from FY24 itself.
So what could be the potential size of that revenue?
Difficult at this point to say. What we have planned is that we should be able to at least have a total of about 25 acres or so, which we may be able to complete this year. But I think we will be able to tell you more clearly when we launch it, when we actually start that in the second quarter. We may have to wait till that point in time to give you more numbers.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and one to ask a question. Our next question is from the line of Ajay Surya from Niveshaay. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. So I wanted to ask, out of the 550 acre of land we have, how much would you classify currently as land sale vertical?
As we have just said, about 500 and 510 acres of that is already under development or to be announced under the planned projects. And therefore, a majority of that is already as a development project is gone. With that leaves around 40 acres at this point in time. Approximately again 40 acres. So there's nothing like, of those 40 acres, something will be up for sale or some will be for development. It's a mixed bag. So we wouldn't be able to pinpoint any specific numbers on that.
And so for the current quarter, how much acre of land would we have sold approximately?
Sorry, please repeat the question. Couldn't get that.
So currently, we sold land 80 to 85% of for this quarter. Our revenue is from land sale vertical. So I wanted to ask, how much acre of land would we have sold for the current quarter?
Yeah, about 40 acres.
Okay, about 40 acres.
Yes.
Okay, that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Abhishek Agarwal from Naredi Investment. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. So my question regarding tax rate. What is the effective tax rate for FY24?
Can you just repeat your question? It is not very clear to me.
What kind of effective tax rate for FY24?
Tax rate, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, we will be subjected to about 26% tax, including surcharge and everything.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and one to ask a question. Our next question is from the line of Aditya Sen from Robo Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, am I audible now?
Yes,
yeah, Aditya.
Okay, so the market appears to be really strong there. So in this regard, do we have a plan to increase the price of our existing inventory?
Yeah, as we go along, we have been increasing the price of completed project and ongoing projects, and that is well received and absorbed by market. That has been our experience. Just to give you an example, when we started selling our ongoing project, which is Malabar Exotica, we started booking at around 4,800 rupees a square feet. And the last sale which we contracted was northwards of 6,000 rupees a square feet.
So the growth will be in the similar fashion going forward also?
Yeah, we expect it to continue. Yeah.
All right. And I believe you have answered this question, but can you please come back again on the ongoing unsold inventory that we have?
See, roughly around, if you see, we have a potential of 200 crore of sales from the ongoing and completed project for maybe in this year or maybe in the first quarter of the next year. So there are 4 to 5 projects which consist of this 200 crore of the inventory.
All right. And what will be the value of launches in FY24?
Sorry?
What will be the value? Yeah.
What?
I'm asking, what will be the value of launches in FY24?
Launches. Okay.
Yeah.
That is around 750 crore is roughly around one on the residential side. And then there is a one SEZ phase 1 which is already undergoing that we have already announced as a launch project.
And the margins are going to be in the range of 30%.
So the value of the ongoing projects, other than what he just explained to you, would be the residential and the commercial, which could be upwards of 1,000 crores.
All right. And the margins will be around 30%, right?
Yeah, it varies from some places it could be even higher, but yes, you can take that.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was the last question of our question and answer session. I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
So, thank you all for taking interest in our quarterly conference call. In conclusion, let me mention that this is just a beginning in the momentum in the real estate sector, which has started on the back of strong affordability, household income growth, consolidated supply. It is only at this time that GHCL, with its excellent track record of execution, has put its best performance ever, is debt-free, and is sitting on a cash surplus with very promising projects on ground. We continue to believe there is only one way movement for GHCL, and that is upwards. Thank you all.
Thank you. On behalf of Go India Advisors, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.